Okay. My stream yesterday got killed by bad internet. My internet and the whole house just dropped out. So it wasn't my plan, but it just happened. So, where did I leave off? No, I'm not going to go back to those topics. I don't know what I'm going to do tonight. I can tell you that these streams have become almost like weird stream of consciousness sort of things where I don't really have a plan. I feel like I'm some sort of prisoner. With this backdrop, I just feel like a prisoner, like, you know, sending an SOS by blinking my eyes in Morse code. Like I'm in a detention center or something. Or I'm in a prison, you know, awaiting trial, you know, doing a video conference for a judge or something. Just, it's not a good look. You know, it is what it is. But ultimately, things are kind of slowing down a little bit. Tensions are alleviating. They're going away. I'm getting more into chill. I'm very tired. I don't know if I mentioned this. I've lost a considerable amount of weight in the past 4 months. I've lost over 40 pounds at this point. Working into 45 pounds in 4 months. And I feel very weak, very tired. It's not my fault. I mean, it's not like something I intentionally tried to do. It's just due to stress and the fact that I don't really have been eating. Good evening, Red Feather. Or good evening, Red and Feather. Good evening. I am making up for yesterday's stream with this stream. Because I feel like I owe it to those who have been missing my other streams, who actually tried to tune in yesterday, and my internet killed the whole experience. So I'm trying to grow my hair back out. Right now I'm in full Munchie mode, and it looks crazy. You can definitely tell my age. My receding hairline's getting fucking bad. Have you been to the doctor? No, I don't. I kind of stopped going to the doctor because I got fucking tired of being diagnosed as perfectly healthy and wasting tons of money on just blood work and tests and MRIs and shit like that. It just seems like a big waste of my fucking money. 10 pounds a month isn't too bad, but could be concerning. The thing is, I've lost more weight than that in a shorter period of time. 12 years ago, I dropped about 100 pounds in 6 months. But I was really working at it. Like, I just quit drinking. And I was doing cardio like a madman. This time, I'm doing almost nothing physical. Hiking occasionally. That's about it. But I've, like, this past 4 months, it's been literally just stress. But this all started a couple of years ago when I got up to the heaviest I'd ever been. I got up to 400 pounds, if you could believe that. Post-COVID, it was like 2023, I think. And I was eating a lot of terrible stuff. Very terribly just eating. That was when I was on my Skittles kick. And I was eating a pound of Skittles every day, thinking nothing of it. Didn't get diabetes either. You know, most of the time you think you're eating that much sugar, you're going to get diabetes. No, I wasn't even pre-diabetic. Everything was fine. Every time I went to the doctor, fine, fine. A1C's fine. Blood sugar's fine. Everything's fine. But it didn't matter. Essentially, it took an endocrinologist, the ire of not the ire, but the smarminess of a endocrinologist to put me on track to lose weight again. Because I always knew I could lose weight because I lost it 12 years ago. But I was like, yeah, I'm kind of living my life the way I want to and doing what I want. I'm fine with it. Thinking that at the time because I was just whatever. And this endocrinologist was trying to push that Wegovy or fucking all this stuff that everybody's taking now. Ozempic and Wegovy. He was like, oh, this is this diabetes medication that they just approved it for people to use, and it's great for weight loss, and you should convince your insurance company. And I'm like, no, I don't think I'll be doing that. And I'm like, I can lose it on my own. And he just gave me this look like, yeah, okay. I'm like, I'll show you. And I had to meet with him. I was supposed to meet with him a year later. I'm like, I'm going to show this motherfucker what's up. It's like, and when I walk in the fucking door a year from now to get another checkup about this stuff, he's going to fucking see a thinner me. And he's like, oh, you got the Wegovy or the Ozempic. I'm like, no, I told you I could lose weight on my own. And this is just me losing weight on my own. But it would have been stupid anyway, because he would have been like, oh, well, excellent. And he would have just dismissed it as nothing. But it's like, it is kind of petty to be like, look at me now, endocrinologist. I feel like I should be on fucking Maury or one of those shows. The bullies that cause people to like. I needed to lose weight. It was time. I was really abusing myself. I can't express enough how horrible it is when it's a struggle to just get up, sit down, do things like that. You're in pain all the time. Everything hurts. It got to the point where it was hard for me to like put my shoes on and tie my shoes because I literally couldn't reach my feet. It was hard to wipe my ass. Everything just sucked. So I was like, all right. I just realized I think I've known you since 2019, possibly 2018. Crazy time, how time flies. It was before that, I believe. I thought you were following me back in the IS or IBS days. Maybe. I mean, I thought you were around during the Kumite days. And that was like 2016, 2017, I believe. Lie detector says you will not be my endocrinologist. I've heard that stuff basically that it just makes you nauseous and you just don't want to eat. I don't know. I have family members who've been taking it. I'm totally against taking medication especially for purposes they weren't designed for. I'm not an advocate for taking a lot of medication anyway. But in that regard, fuck all that. I'm all about trying to do it naturally. And the way I lost the weight this time was I just scaled back on my eating. I didn't exercise. I didn't try to like pair it up with anything. I just sort of conditioned myself to eat less. This is when I went on, I've been talking about this off and on for years. I went on the fake potato diet where I was just eating. And here's the fucking crazy part. Okay. I was eating fake potatoes, right? 2 bowls of fake potatoes with like a handful of cheese every day, plus a big bag of these Rice Crisps, like caramel Rice Crisps. I'm trying to remember who makes them. Quaker, I think. Let me see if I can. Yeah, these motherfuckers. Let me pull this up. Right screen? No, wrong screen. Sorry. Oop. Where's my screen? There it is. Okay. This right here is what I used to get all the time. I used to eat a bag of these. This is the 5.2 ounce, I was eating a 7-ounce bag every night, plus 2 bowls, fairly big bowl, like bowls about that size. Well, I should put it closer to my face. About this size of potatoes. Fake potatoes, you mean instant powder potatoes. I mean, like, you know, like Idahoan. Here, let me show you what I mean. Now that I got this up. Instant mashed. Yeah, these motherfuckers. This right here. There you go. That right there. That was all I ate for probably 4 months, 4 to 5 months. That and those Rice Crisps. And the weight just started coming off like crazy. I sat on a couch, I played video games, watched YouTube, and ate 2 bowls of that plus 1 bag of those Rice Crisps every single day for like 4 to 5 months. And I lost like 60 pounds in like no time flat. It got to a point where I was plateauing pretty hard. Like I couldn't lose any more weight. I got down to like 330, and I was like, I really couldn't lose any more than that. So what I did was I started eating less. You know, I just started paring back on that. I started changing up my diet, eating different things, and scaling back on the amount I was eating. Next thing you know, I'm not eating 2 bowls of potatoes a day. I'm eating 1 bowl of potatoes. And I legit do not, what do you call it? I'm trying to think here. Forgive me, I'm having a brain fart. I just started eating. I just kept eating less. Here's the crazy part. I mentioned something crazy. The crazy thing is now, I couldn't even eat. I could eat 1 bowl of potatoes in a day, and that would be all I could eat. Like my stomach is now so goddamn small. Like the thought of eating 2 bowls of mashed potatoes plus that bag of Rice Crisps is ungodly to me. I can't imagine eating that much. And that's kind of where I'm at. I'm probably only taking in about 700 to 1,000 calories a day. But I'm not hungry is the thing. It's like I've gotten so used to this over time that it's like, it's just the way things are. And I try to go back, and I've tried occasionally to go back and eat things like yesterday I got a bag of Funyuns. I'm like, I'm going to eat a bag of Funyuns. I regretted that the minute I was done. I'm like, it's so packed with sodium, I could barely stand it. And I ate, that's all I had for the entire day was a bag of Funyuns, because it just destroyed me, all that sodium. I know you like cabbage, but cabbage soup is great for weight loss. See, this is the route that a lot of people take. Eat healthier food. Fuck all that. Here's what I subscribe to. Here's what I do. Okay, you want a social rec method of losing weight? Here it is. Eat whatever fills you up. Whatever's low calorie and fills you up. And that's why I chose those potatoes, because I knew that I could eat potatoes, like Idahoan potatoes. If you take out the butter and you take out the milk and you just add water and potato, that is insanely low calorie for a large amount of food. I know it's all starch and carbs, but the thing is, you can't eat a shitload of it. You can eat it, but it fills you up quick. And then you eat less because you have this feeling of being full for a lot longer, as opposed to eating like fruits and berries and nuts and grass and wheat and bullshit, you know? So I would just fill up and I'd get full and I wouldn't be hungry. But my calorie intake is still very low by comparison to what it used to be. And the weight would just come off. But now it's like, my stomach's so damn small. I mean, it's tough as nails to even go out to eat because I can barely finish a meal. Meals to me, like entrees, are way too much food. So it's getting bizarre. Is there somebody else watching the stream? Because I swear to God, Red Feather, you just said hello to someone, but I don't see their chats. Oh, there's other people chatting. I'm sorry. I had it on top chat and I didn't even see. Well, that's fucking stupid. Why would they set it up to like ignore whole chats? Well, thank you and hello, the ghetto redneck Bible lady. Sorry I missed you before, but your chats were literally not showing up. Funyuns aren't good for you, lol. Yeah, they're not. They're low calorie though. That's the, I mean, if you're gonna get chips, which I don't recommend because the whole process, I mean, as far as weight loss goes, like the one thing I've learned is you really have to condition yourself to stop snacking and to just sit there with bags of shit and just eat throughout the day. You got to kind of condition yourself to eat meals and just stick to those meals. So chips are like, well, you know, you're falling off the wagon if you start eating a lot of chips because that's like the gateway to more food. So, salt and sugar are the gateways to eating more. They kick your appetite up like tremendously. So if you can avoid those or at least reduce them, you can keep everything pretty well in check. Like I'm almost embarrassed to admit this. I don't know why, but like for the past, outside of today I tried to eat something more and boy, I've paid for it. I feel like shit today. But Monday and Tuesday, all I ate was peanut butter and crackers. I would eat a package of crackers, which if you've never actually looked it up, one package of crackers, one of those like plastic packages of crackers that you get in a box, is 500 calories. So I would eat half of that with a little bit of peanut butter, and then I'd eat the other half plain. And that's all I'd eat for the whole day. But I wasn't hungry. I mean, that filled me up. I didn't need any more than that. And I was happy with that. That was fine. Sometimes I mix it up and I'll throw some cheese in there, and that's even lower calorie. But it's like, I'm finding that I don't really like, I can't eat hamburger anymore. Hamburger is disgusting to me. It's like so greasy and so fattening. It makes me sick when I eat it. Chicken, I have a hard time eating that now. I don't know, it's just rubbery and the texture of it's just so gross. And I don't go out to eat. Hardly ever. I don't ever get fast food anymore because it's just nasty. I don't try to get anything that's been prepared or processed or anything. I try to just eat as close to natural as possible, if you can consider that. I've tried to cut bread out completely, which has been pretty successful, to be honest. I mean, bread is highly overrated. I mean, literally, it's just every once in a while I'll have a bowl of potatoes. Mostly I eat crackers. Crackers and unsweetened tea. I'm like a fucking prisoner in my own life. What about fish? Fish is a little different. I'm not the biggest fan of fish, but it's all in the preparation. And most of the time, to get any real decent flavor out of fish, it has to be breaded. And then you're adding massive amounts of calories and massive amounts of carbs in the breading. So I tend to stay away from fish. Now, what I do, I would eat sushi for the rest of my natural life if I could afford it. But I can't. So, but I'll never turn that down. I'll eat Indian. I love fucking Indian. Eat Indian any day of the week. And Mexican. But I'm finding it very hard to eat Mexican anymore because the portions are just way too much. I steer clear of the beans and rice, and I try to focus on something. Like I've been getting quesadillas because they're the lightest thing I can get on the menu. And I just eat chips and salsa. I mean, if I went to a Mexican restaurant and just ate chips and salsa, I'd be happy. They could just charge me for the chips and salsa. I'd be fine with that. Love grilled salmon. I like salmon, but it's hard to get it right. Sushi, yeah, I love it. If I could afford to eat Indian all the time, I would eat Indian all the time because that shit's delicious. But unfortunately, and I don't live anywhere close to, 30 minutes, but I'm not driving 30 minutes a day for Indian. But who knows? My wife and I are looking at houses now because even though I just fixed the commercial volume issue at my job and the commercial's not playing issue, that did nothing to save my job. So I have to consider the fact that July is it. I'm going to be looking for I'm going to be out of a job in July. So I think selling this house is pretty much it's something we got to do. Although the house I was looking at, which was closer to where my wife works, is now pending sale. So that's it's depressing. Because I was as soon as I saw that come on the market, I'm like, we should put a bid on that house and try to make it like our purchase contingent on the sale of our house. Because we could probably sell this house in no time flat. But it's convincing her, that it's the right move and getting her to come around. It's always it takes forever. People also love Thai food, but I never tried it. When it comes to Asian food, I'm very, very, how should I put it? It's a danger zone sort of deal, it's very dangerous for me because I really, really love like fried rice and stuff like that. And I would eat the absolute shit out of it. I get on these kicks when I start trying something, and next thing you know, I'm eating it like every single night for months and months on end. Like I'm a machine that just never stops eating something when I'm switched on to it. And pork fried rice, man, I could eat that every single day. And I'd be afraid that I would undo everything that I've done up to this point with my love of pork fried rice. So apparently Thai is very peanut based. Maybe, peanut sauce, peanut this and that. I know a lot of those places I've been to, they always try to throw peanuts in the fucking mix. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I'm not big on like semi-sweet glazes on their meats and whatnot. Sometimes they'll do that with chicken and pork, and I'm not a big fan of it. But some things they do I like, some things they do I don't like. But if I had to choose of Asian style cuisine, I would always choose Indian over any sort of Thai or Asian or whatever, or Chinese. I don't like fried rice. I prefer white. Well, pork fried rice is white though. I don't know. It's just one of those things, and it's also expensive. It's one of those things where I have to pay I'm kind of a cheapskate now. I don't want to pay a huge amount of money to have food prepared for me all the time. It's like, I'm trying to scale back how much money we spend, because right now our bill situation is pretty fucking high. And what we make barely covers what we spend. So until we can right that ship, I'm kind of like in crunch mode as far as like holding on to money. Oh, it's not, the rice isn't fried. It's not fried rice. It's like, I don't know how you explain it. It's like, I don't know. It's, what do you call that shit? What do you call it when you go to hibachi? It's like hibachi style rice. If you've ever been to a hibachi, the rice isn't technically fried. It's heated up on on a grill, but it's still just rice. I don't consider it to be that much different. I will live and die on sweet and sour chicken. If you can afford it. Again, you can make it yourself. I tried. This is one of those things when it comes to Asian food. I've tried my damnedest to make it, and I suck at it. I'm terrible with rice. I cannot make rice. Anything with rice, I fuck it all up. I don't know why. It is fried, otherwise they call it fried. Okay, technically yes, but what else are you gonna do it in a cooker? But it's already pre-cooked rice that they just throw on a. I get what you're saying, but I guess you got to have it in the right context. Maybe I just can't imagine people not liking pork fried rice. That shit is the bomb. I love that shit. But I guess everyone has their particular tastes and flavors as far as like when it comes to Asian cuisine. I could go on. I don't think there's a single solitary thing No, I can't. I've tried with the wok too. I'm no good with it. Indian's another thing I can't make. I love Indian. I wish I could make Indian cuisine myself, but I can't. I've tried many times over the past decade, and I suck at it. Honestly, I'll pay for good Indian, but it's so good. I'd love to have it all the time. It'd be great. It'd make me happy. I guess we can't be friends anymore. Yeah. People's differences in food is unforgivable. Unforgivable. But that's all. I mean, that's kind of how I beat the demons back, so to speak. You know, it's like just learning how to control myself. It's kind of the same way it was with alcohol. You know, like once I realized that I can do without certain things, and Skittles. I mean, there for a while, I'm like, get rid of Skittles. Like, I would rather eat a bullet than never eat Skittles again. I love Skittles. But I used to say the same thing about alcohol. Like, I'm genetically predisposed to alcoholism. Like, my entire family bloodline was just chock full of alcoholics. We all had to drink. It was like in our DNA. The thought of being without it was incomprehensible. Until I, made it happen. And then it just became like quitting smoking. It was like, I used to quit smoking so easily, and everybody's like, how the fuck do you do that, dude? Like, I don't know. It was just, it's easy. I just got sick one day, like a sinus cold. Cigarettes tasted like shit, so I just stopped smoking. And then I'd stop smoking for like a year or 2 years. And then something would happen, and I'd just start smoking again. But when it came to alcohol, I knew I've tried many times in the past to break that shit, and it never took. It wasn't until circumstances 12 years ago that brought me to that. But after getting completely free of it, life changed for me dramatically for the better. And I'll never go back. I thought about that from time to time. Like, could I ever just cut loose one weekend and just have a few beers and just chill, whatever? The answer is no. The answer is probably yes. I could and still maintain control. I could maintain my sobriety and just have one weekend of kicking back. But I guess that all goes back into the stuff I was talking about before, and how there are certain aspects of life where you start to realize that things are best left in the past. Like, you had moments in time where you enjoyed certain things. Like, I used to party all the fucking time. Me and my friends used to party all the time. But if I tried to party like I did back when I was younger now, it just wouldn't be the same party. It wouldn't be the same experience. So all of my experiences that I'd have now would be negative. And why would I do that? They were toward the end. It's like, this is not a good scene. This is not a good thing I'm doing. I'm trying to recapture a moment in my life that can't be recaptured. It's best to just remember it, and to remember those experiences and those exchanges that I had, and those friendships that I made, and circumstances, situations we got in, and just look back and laugh, or look back and be like, oh my God, I can't believe we got through that, and blah, blah, blah. Resign it to the halls of memory and reflect on it from time to time, rather than say, I can be in that state forever. I can forever be young. And whatever fantasy world that you can convince yourself to be in. And I essentially assume, I feel as though it's an aspect of, like, people want to, life is overwhelming. I guess that's what I mean. Life is just absolutely overwhelming. It hits you with everything, and it's nonstop. You can't shut it off. So what everyone desires is to unplug themselves from that, to release and let go of the wheel, and just let Jesus take it, but in this case, Jesus is a bottle, or a fucking needle, or, a bump, or a line, or a fucking pill, or whatever it takes to take the edge off of life, but it's all about escapism and releasing that aspect of responsibility and control, and just saying, let the chips fall where they may, and sort of drift through life. And there's so many people I've known and lost in my life who that was the guiding force in their life, was just letting go and letting things happen and let the chips fall where they may. Well, the chips fell right into caskets for a lot of my friends. So it's like, that's a bad way to go, I guess. So I was talking to one of my friends about this not too long ago. This is actually, son of a bitch. It's next month. It's actually next month. It's literally in fucking goddamn. Let me think about this. I think it's just a couple of days. I think it might be this weekend. Holy fuck. 20-year anniversary of the death of our friend Randy. Died from a fucking heart attack at the ripe old age of like 30. Heavy cocaine abuser. Actually, I saw him the night before he died, and he was up. He was on the tail end of a 5-day meth bender, and he looked like death. I mean, it was scary. And after he left, I was talking to my friends, and I'm like, man, something's got to change with him, or he ain't gonna fucking make it, man. Like, he's looking horrible. And then fucking no more than probably 6 hours later, I get woke up in the middle of the night with the call that he's dead. It's like fucking crazy. But yeah, that was 20 years ago. And I think about that from time to time. And I think about, I brought this up with my friend. I'm like, did he get off light? I mean, sometimes I wonder that, like, my wife's mother died at like 55. She died of a heart attack. It was very sudden and very tragic. I mean, she literally fell dead in a Walmart, and it was like very traumatic because she was with her family at the time, and it was a bad scene overall. But I think about her, I think about my friend Randy, I think about other people who've died young, and I'm like, is dying young, everyone says, like, some people have a certain way of feeling about death and dying young, and some people, like, the younger you are, the more romantic it seems, the more like cool and hip it seems to live fast, die young. But the older I get, the more I'm like, maybe dying young isn't so bad. Because, I mean, ultimately, it's tragic for everyone else whose remains. It's a loss that they have to feel for a long period of time. But for the person who's dead, you're done with it. Life's over. You don't have to go through the hardships and the trauma and the torment of what life has to present to you. I guess you could say it's a nihilistic viewpoint. And it is. But it's sort of couched in this whole argument of, what's life worth? What is life worth to anyone? Like, what's life worth to you? What's life worth to me? I mean, I guess if you've made a family for yourself and you have kids and potentially grandkids now, and that brings you comfort and joy in your life, and you love seeing your family, blossom and mature and take all that on, and that whole experience is just part of the whole element of what keeps you going, then I can understand that. But what else is there? I mean, I can speak from the perspective of someone who never had kids. It's like, it starts to become this grind of like repetitiveness. And I know a lot of my friends and people I know of my age group are coming into that realm because in a lot of cases, their kids have grown up. They've moved out, and now they're going to start experiencing life without their family around. I mean, they're always going to have their kids. Their kids are going to have kids, and there's going to be a family that extends beyond them. But in their day-to-day life, they're going to have to come to grips with something they've probably never had to come to grips with, which is being in a relationship with someone who you now have to, like, that's all you have. Yeah, that's one of those things when it comes to like marriage and being in a, couples who have kids. They're so preoccupied with their kids that they don't really take stock in honestly how they actually feel about one another. It's always like a sideline thing, But once your kids move on, you face the reality like, oh my God, I don't even like this person. I can't stand this person. I guess it's kind of like the way I view some of my friendships in the past with, once I got alcohol out of the way, once we stopped partying together and once I stopped drinking, I realized a lot of these people I used to associate with, I would never speak to ever again, were it not for the parties that we went to. And that's, nothing against them. It's just, we're not compatible people. We don't have anything in common. And sometimes I feel like a lot of my friends, family, and everyone who are now coming to terms with that, like now all I have left is the person I married. They're kind of hitting a wall in a sense. They're like, oh my God. But this is one leg up that Soraya and I have, where all we've had is each other. So we've gotten over all of that a long time ago. We are very, very comfortable with one another. We still argue. We still fight, from time to time. I look at it like this. If you're expressing your emotions with someone that you care about and someone you're intimate with, then you're doing good. It doesn't matter if it's anger. It doesn't matter if it's frustration. It doesn't matter if it's anxiety, guilt, blah, 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 mind games. If you're engaging with the person, that's better than the alternative, which is shutting that person out of your life, which is very, very, very easy to do in a relationship. It's easy to just shut down, stonewall a person, and decide for yourself, I don't want to engage in this conversation with this person, so I'm just going to shut down. Because you can spend many, many years of your life just shutting down all productive conversation in any way, shape, or form, and just lose touch with the person that you're living with, And then one day you wake up and you realize, I don't even know why I'm with this person anymore. So it's always better to be open and honest and just have those experiences, bad and good. Have the whole, because you're going to regret it later on down the road when, you realize all the time that you wasted being petty and just trying to avoid turmoil and avoid bad situations and trying to control a situation that really isn't within your purview to control. Sometimes it's weird how, in going back to the whole escapism and wanting to, let chips fall where they may, it seems like everyone's cool with that until it's a relationship. No one's cool with like, I'm going to surrender control to another person. I'm going to let another person's wants, whims, desires, or whatever guide my future. Most people want to control the relationship, and they will do really dumb things to control the relationship because they feel like it works out better for everyone if they just say enough, and I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of instances, like with my wife and I, where there's touchy subjects. I mean, obviously, there's touchy subjects. The subject of children for a long time was a very touchy subject because we both, when we started dating, made the decision, well, we don't want kids. I'm like, cool. Somewhere along the line, she changed her tune. She decided she wanted kids. And I stood firm. Like, I don't want kids. I'm sorry, I just don't. And I told her. And I wasn't trying to be an asshole, although it does come across that way. And I understand that. I don't mean to sound like I was throwing a gauntlet down or anything, but I kind of was. When I would tell her, if you want kids, you've got to leave me. I mean, it's just the way it is. You're going to have to find someone else. If children are now rank super high on your list of things you want in your life that's going to make you happy, then it's time for us to reevaluate our relationship, because you're never going to get it with me. And I would rather you be happy and with someone else than be with me and miserable because you didn't get the children you wanted. But on an emotional level, on a rational level, that makes sense. You know, when you just put it out there like that and you say, and you look at it and it's like, yeah, on paper, that looks great. But from an emotional level, that's incomprehensible. And it's taken me a long time to kind of realize that, you know, that's not something you can just say, okay, there it is, cut and dry, plain and simple. It doesn't work that way. Because even though I was saying it, I wasn't really even facing the emotional aspects of it, you know? I wasn't considering it. So if she decided, okay, then we're done, I would have went along with it. Everything would have been fine for probably 2 days. And then I would have realized, oh my God, we're going to get a divorce. What am I doing? And emotions would have taken their hold on me. And I probably would have changed my story. I would have changed my tune. Would I have had kids? Doubtful. There's some things that I'm like, I've had regrets in my life, but one regret I will never have is my decision to not have kids, because I am a very, very stubborn and very childish man. I understand that. I've understood that about myself for a long fucking time. So bringing a kid into this world the way I was, I mean, I could say now, sure, great, bring them on. But over the past 20 years, me trying to raise a kid would have been disastrous. It would have been disastrous for my relationship with Soraya. It would have been disastrous for my job, for my lifestyle. It would have been disastrous for the kid, because I was not responsible and mature enough to care for a kid. I just wasn't. I was too involved in my own bullshit. And it would have been a huge point of contention, especially with my drinking when it started getting really out of control. I think Soraya would have left me. I guarantee you she would have left. She was always saying that she would have stuck with me no matter what. And even though the drinking was tearing her apart and she just couldn't deal with it, she said she wouldn't leave me. She would just accept it and live with it and be in pain. But if we had a kid, nope. She would have left me for sure. She would not have allowed me to subject the kid to the bullshit that she had to endure with my drinking. I know that much. So, yeah, I made the right call. For me, as selfish as it is. But I made the right call. And there's no taking it back. Not at 49. Well, I'm not 49 yet. I'm going to be 49 in October. But there's no taking it back this late in the game. So I look at my life going forward and I think about what is left for me. What else is there, you know? And that's where a lot of the job stuff comes into play, and that's where all the anxiety and the fucking pressure and the crazy roller coaster of emotions has been coming up this past 4 months, because I was living for my job 21 years of employment. And I felt like I had I was finally at a place where I could actually make it to retirement. And then I'd have my pension to retire on, and everything would be fine after that. Then Soraya and I could go out and go do all the outdoorsy stuff we want. We could get a new camper and travel around the country, go to campgrounds all over, visit all these parks and whatever that we've wanted to see for a long time, unfettered, not tied down to work or monetary responsibilities, anything like that, because we would have my pension. And then I learned that they're going to shut down my department. So it's like, there goes the pension. And now it's like, 4 months of trying to decide how to move past that, how to process that, what to do. And in a lot of cases, the answer was just fuck everything, you know, fuck it all, and just go live our lives now. I tried being an adult and it didn't pay off, so fuck it. I'm going to go back to being a petulant little fucking kid. I'm going to be a brat. I'm just going to live for the day. Screw it. But after 20 years of being a responsible adult, it's not something you can just easily throw away, you know? There's too much of that kind of burned into me now. But there's not a day that goes by that I don't long to not check my email every 5 minutes. I swear. Getting old, man. I don't get it. Life confuses the shit out of me. And on a weird, like, philosophical level, life becomes a very, I don't know. I think about things a lot. My brain never shuts off. And I think that's part of the reason why I drank so much, is because I just wanted it to stop. Literally, the only thing that's going to stop this fucking brain is a bullet to the head. Because it never stops. The thinking, the wandering, the pondering, the fucking philosophical bullshit, the fantasizing, the storytelling, the everything that just rattles through the head. It just never stops. I was talking about a movie that I was putting together with a buddy of mine wrote last year. We were working on it. It was called June. I rewrote it recently, and now I'm doing some touch-up work to it and whatever. And I was planning on shooting it this year, assuming I was able to stay at my job, because that's the only way I'm going to have a camera. But it's like, I just stopped. I got 100 pages blasted out in like a week, and then I stopped dead, and I didn't return to it for like a month. Then I came back to it and I started rereading it. I'm like, oh, I'll make some changes here. I'm just doing a little light revisions here and there, and I realized, like, this is what I do every single time I've written a script over the past 20 plus years. I will get really far into it, and then I'll be like, and it just ceases to be the story I want to tell. And I always treat it as though it's like, it's got to be perfect. Whatever I do has to be perfect. And that's another aspect of the fucked upness of me, is that I strive for perfection. And when I don't achieve it, when I don't do what I set out to do, I take it really, really personally. And I get really fucking blown out. My confidence goes south quick. And I start to get fucking really, really depressed. Like Sunday, I felt like a complete and utter failure. A complete failure. I felt like I failed Soraya. I felt like I failed myself, my family. I felt like I failed everyone. I felt like I failed my job, the people who I worked with, my coworkers. I was really low this past Sunday. But that's how it gets for me when I'm like, and I think that's another reason why I'm like so leery about doing things and then it not panning out. Like, I don't want to sink too much of myself into something like streaming and have it not turn out the way I was hoping, and it become a reflection of, no matter what I think of myself, the world around me is going to reflect what my worth truly is, you know. And I understand, don't get me wrong, some old man talking about himself incessantly is not good viewing. I am the first to understand that. My problem with that is that I just don't, and I was telling this everyone I've ever streamed with before and talked to on streams, I've always told the same thing. Everyone's life, that because back in the days it was the commentary community and all that shit, and watching other YouTubers and commenting on their videos and this and that, and I got into that a little bit. I just don't give a shit enough about these people's lives to put that much interest into it, to follow their lives enough and follow their videos. And I'm just like, I'm not into them enough to do that. And I still see people doing that. Like, it'll come up from time to time. I mean, it depends on who you're talking about. There's probably a shitload of people out there in YouTube land or Twitch land or whatever who are doing some stuff, and there's some drama, because there's always some fucking drama, and somebody's covering it. Sorry, I saw a gnat. The gnats are out really bad. And I don't know if it's like that in your town, but in Illinois, it has become fucking incredible. You know what's funny? God damn it. I just want to say now, my chat window had not been updating for a very, very long time. So it literally stopped at maybe get a walk. No, it was, I'm sorry, guess we can't be friends anymore. I didn't see anything past that. So I apologize. I just now refreshed it and have seen all this shit. Sorry. God damn. I could go back and recount all this, but Jesus Christ, that would take me long. None of you guys have ever known Randy. Like, before I started doing any of this, even Jerkcast, Randy was long dead. I mean, it was 2005 when he died. But it's hard. Speaking of on the front of like streaming, it's hard to keep going. And one of the reasons why I stopped Jerkcast, it was because I just didn't feel as though anyone actually gave a shit, about me and my friends and our livelihood and Beardstown, where we're all from, and the stories that we would tell. I do miss it in a sense that that's one of the aspects of our life that we always used to engage in, but then we just don't do anymore. We don't do it organically. So Jerkcast was sort of like a artificial way for us to, relive the past. Talk about memories that we had and different people we knew and all sorts of stuff. It was a good thing. But when I'm the one who has to run the whole ship, if we did it a different way, like if I just set up one camera and a bunch of microphones and we sat on a couch and we all just kind of chilled and talked, that would be fine. I could do that every week. That would be fine. But the way I was doing it before, I just got sick of it. It just became a real hassle for me. And I just did a lot of technical issues, a lot of bullshit involving that, having to run the switcher and start the stream and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, the responsibility all fell on me, and I was just kind of tired of doing that, But one of the things that personally, sorry, I'm so close to the microphone. One of the things that always affected me about doing streams, whether it be a social rec or Jerkcast or anything else, is that it got to a point where I was taking the whole thing a little too seriously. What's it called? Cringe Factory. I was taking that stuff too seriously. See, I didn't say fuck the internet randomly. It was, I started getting too invested. Hello, Victor Rand. I started getting way too invested in the views, and the show's popularity. How many people were checking it out, how many people were interested in it. And I started getting roped into that. And I'm like, I don't want to live my life this way. I don't want to fucking concern myself with views and having to boost audience shares and trying to got to get to 1,000 subscribers so we can turn on super chats and blah, blah, blah. Like, I've never been about that. So I was always like, when I felt myself getting too emotionally attached to that sort of stuff, I really felt the urge to back off. Like, I can't make this a part of my life. I can't make this something that I focus on. Because then I end up doing stupid shit like fucking toilet nachos, like on Jerkcast, where I'm literally making a goddamn spectacle of myself to try to draw in viewers. And I'm like, I ain't fucking doing that. I'm not fucking doing that. I used to tell Talka that all the time. I'm like, I am not doing that. Like this, I see so many people in the Kumite, like that's that's what their life becomes. They become that lolcow thing, and they're fine with it, you know, and they just want to, they don't give a shit how they look as long as people are looking. I'm like, fuck that. That ain't for me. That ain't for me at all. And I'm glad I didn't go that path. But it's hard to, like, it's funny to me now because when you look at the state of affairs of streamers, influencers, and the overall YouTube and Twitch communities now, it's like there's no formula that works anymore. It's just people do their thing and it either hits or it doesn't. Like, it's crazy. Now you only need 500 subs and a certain number of watch hours to monetize. Oh, really? Well, I didn't even know that. They're trying to rope more people in. It's like a fucking addiction. They realized 1,000 was a hard number to fucking achieve, so they're like, we got to reduce this. 1,000 is. When you're starting from nothing, 1,000 is a motherfucker. I never did it. Warski and PPP are over on Kick doing Kino Casino. What, right now? See, that's another one of those things. It's like, fucking Warski was the perfect example of guy who would do anything for views. He was, to me, the archetypical, not archetype, but he was not the prototype. What do you call it? He was the prime example of that guy. And I was always like, the guy who would make a spectacle of himself for views. Change everything he did. Like, one minute he wants to be Mr. Serious debate topic guy. The next minute he wants to be the fucking clown who's lighting his nipples on fire. The next minute he's fucking doing this. I mean, you get to a point where you're like, he's just a clown. And now he literally is. I mean, him and PPP are, it's a literal clown show. But that's like the last remnants of IBS are over there. You know, still kicking around, watching him. Still watching fucking Ethan Ralph, if he's still around. I don't know if they're on now. They have a channel here called Kino Casino Clips. I just never, for one thing, Warski I never cared for. He was always a little too high energy now. Warski's sober now, allegedly. Okay. I always found that my involvement, like, as far as like the Warski thing, I never hated Andy Warski, but I always found him to be a pretty good foil. I thought a lot of people may have disagreed with me, but I thought his involvement in the Kumite was good in the sense that it sort of breathed a little bit of life into things, and he was a good foil. And I really felt like he was such a dummy that you could literally make content on his dumminess forever. Like, for a content creator, like for someone who, like me, who was doing animations and things like that, he was a fucking gold mine. I could do shit on Andy Warski all day long, and it was appealing across the board. Unlike the stuff with Failure and Tonka, where you kind of had to follow the show to really get what was going on. With Andy, it was like he was just doing such dumb stuff that you could make a video about it or make an animation about it, and it would be just universally appealing. But that was my only involvement in it, you know. Once the tides turned and the whole thing, shithouse went up, it's like I never really stuck around beyond all that, because I never found his show to be entertaining. I never found the Ralph retort to be entertaining. I mean, a lot of those shows that were literally just IBS on steroids, I never enjoyed. I didn't even enjoy the Kumite for the most part. Ralph is still around. He now has 2 kids he doesn't really see. He lives in Mexico. That's fucking fantastic. He must be a fugitive if he's living in Mexico. I never enjoyed the only time I ever enjoyed the Kumite was when it was all just bullshit put on, you know, like when it was just low key. Like, my favorite memory of that was, what was it? Oh, AP versus Carl Reed. One of those really early title bouts, you know, like back in the very beginning, the genesis of the Kumite, and it was just such fun, and it was just so stupid and silly. It was just goofy, you know, and we were just having a good time. There's just a bunch of idiots having a good time. There was no malcontent. There was no ill will. There was no real nastiness, you know? There wasn't any, like, serious, we're fucking with people's livelihood shit going on at that time. And then once that got injected into it, and all the real scumbags started coming around, that's when it all fucking went to shit. But I never realized it until... I guess I was one of the last people to really pick up on it. Maybe it's because I didn't care, or I didn't pay enough attention, or I just wasn't around it enough. But Tonka and Vamp were really just the architects of a lot of that. You know, they were in deep. That was their shit. You know, as much as they said, we're not internet people, they were cultivating a lot of that nastiness and a lot of that fucking deep-seated horror, like, of fucking with people's lives and exposing people's personal docs and shit like that. Like, that was their fucking jam, you know? And I was like, I don't like that. I really don't like that. And I know failure didn't. But, you know, what's bringing in the views? What's bringing in the fucking attention? You know, I guess you do what you gotta do. Recently, they've been covering Johnny Somali getting arrested in South Korea and Vitaly getting arrested in the Philippines. See, I have no idea who those people are. And also Rekieta getting arrested for last year. Now, I did follow that a little bit on the fringe. Nick Rekieta's situation was it is a dumpster fire of epic proportion. But of course, when you're Nick Rekieta, that's going to happen. I think anyone who saw Nick Rekieta and followed Nick Rekieta's whole, you know, shit from the beginning, it's like, you can tell he was ambulance chaser guy from day fucking one. I mean, he was all about trying to get in with the right people and do whatever. And that was back in the early, I want to say the early days of streaming, where someone like a lawyer could come in and everyone wants to gravitate to him, like, ooh, look, a lawyer. Now people are savvy. You know, now people get it. You know, they understand that anyone who's on YouTube is terrible at their job, or because if they weren't, they'd be doing their job. But if they're on YouTube, it's because they're failures at their job. I mean, that's the bottom line. So if you've got somebody like, hey, listen to me, I'm a lawyer. Like, yeah, you're probably a really fucking degenerate lawyer. Yeah, they definitely cultivated a community that seemed fine with Odyssey. Oh, they were all about it. There was no doubt. The shit that was going on behind the scenes, there was absolutely no doubt that they were all in on this. And they were, in order to ingratiate themselves with other tribes and other cults and other groups, crowds, whatever, you know, they played this game, but they enjoyed it. You know, they enjoyed gathering information and talking to people, you know, cozying up to fucking true scumbags to get information on somebody that they were trying to dig up dirt on and bury publicly. And I always said, like, it's only a matter of time. If you're going to go out there and try to bury people publicly and really do damage to them, they're all going to come after you eventually. They're all going to come after you. So if you're not ready to if you're not ready for it, then God bless. Hell, even fucking Jim took his lumps before disappearing. I mean, he wasn't above it either. He got a lot of pushback and a lot of people coming after him. And you could almost say, like, his situation, it's obviously not a benefit, but it's getting out of it is like, and I know he still does streams from time to time, but it's like, he's not in it the way he used to be. And that's the fucked up thing about Jim is like, Jim, I used to admire Jim. I used to think Jim was really good at what he did before it became like he got way too into it. Like, he used to be like the guy, like almost like the weird grandfatherly figure of the whole thing. Like, he was very well respected. Nobody fucked with Jim. He was always like the guy you wanted to, you know, to talk to and pick his brain and get it, you know. But once he started getting his hands dirty and really started getting into it, everything kind of changed, as far as at least my opinion of him. He sort of, his record became tarnished. I wasn't behind the scene at Kumite. I guess I wasn't cool enough. It wasn't. Am I cool? No. I just happened to know failure before the whole thing got started, and that's how I got in. It wasn't anything I did, you know, or anything. It's just it's all who you knew. I've also been falling to quartering, begging for money because he's going bankrupt. I'm surprised he's still around. I'm surprised a lot of those motherfuckers are still around. A lot of old names. I figured they'd all be gone by now. Medicare is supposed to stream next weekend about Somali and Vitali. Yeah. He's got to sell hats. He's got to pay medical bills and sell some hats. More power to him. One thing I could say about Jim is that he was getting really obnoxious and really going down a really bad path. I think lately, like the past few streams he's done, he's still doing it. I mean, his thing is like just laughing at it all. You know, he's got to laugh at it all. You know, and and it is because he's dying and he has serious health issues and he can't leave his house without getting fucked up and shit like that. It's like, you know, it changes a person. Yeah, it changes views a bit. Those were his views before, and he just, that's what I meant. Like, before, he always took like this sort of aloof, lackadaisical kind of way of looking at things, and he always had a very measured and thoughtful way of presenting stuff and looking at stuff. But once he was knee deep in the fucking IBS mud pit, it was all like what everyone else was doing. It was just stream of consciousness, and you got to see the fractures and the flaws, and he was less articulate and less of a well thought out, well put together person. But that's the case with everyone. I remember, like, back in the day, Sargon of Akkad used to be like worshipped as this like genius. Oh, he's such a brilliant person. Then I saw him on a live stream once, and I was like, early on the live stream, I'm like, wow, this guy, his whole composure, his whole visual, everything you know about him is put together. It's scripted. It's all composed. Off the cuff, this guy is a fucking tool. He couldn't string together a sentence if he tried. And it was crazy. Like, and as I started to realize that, like, a lot of people are just bad on their feet. And this was all before the Kumite. That's why I thought the Kumite would have been a great idea, because initially it was to deflate a lot of these commentary people who just came, like Mundane Matt and fucking what's his name? Fucking Jeff Holiday, and a few other those types, and who would always sound off like they always say, oh, here's a new video from blah 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 talking about this. But you get them in a live stream and they just fall to pieces. They're just like babbling idiots. I thought, man, this would be great. Like, just take those fucking guys down a peg, you know, bring them on here and have them show their ass. And they all did. They all jumped in and pulled their pants down and fucking showed their ass. It was great. But there's so much. All the real dirty pool shit was what eventually killed it. And Styx got arrested in New Orleans for assaulting some woman and has become a pirate. What? A pirate? Like a legit, like Somali pirate? Like a pirate on the seas pirate? Styx was one of those guys that I could never understand how he ever got popular. He looks like my nephew, and probably has the same like mental and behavioral problems that my nephew has. That was the original Kumite. Yeah, I mean, the original Kumite was fun. It was great. I would say Worski ruined it. It was already heading that way. It really was. I think failure... Once failure... Because failure was an equal... I can't even say that. The fucked up thing was failure was not in it in the beginning. Like, it was something that Tonka did. Tonka decided... It was Tonka's stream. You know, like, it was his channel and his stream that became the Kumite. And it was all just a fucking... It was just all... It was an idea that we had talked about. You know, we were just batting it around and just discussing it and thought it would be a good idea. And then Tonka took his personal stream and turned it into the Kumite. Like, because Tonka, Vamp, and Failure, they tried to do the Cult of Cactus thing before, and then they just got annoyed with one another and didn't really want to keep doing it. So they all split off and started doing separate streams. But it was Tonka's decision to run with the Kumite that brought everybody back together. But Failure, I think Failure kind of turned away from the whole thing because he felt like he was an equal partner to it, but he also wasn't, you know, but he wanted to be, and he felt like he was, and because he felt like he brought Tonka into the whole thing, and he was right in that regard, but I don't know. This is all ancient history. Gonna go hang out with the kids before bedtime. See you later. Take care. Okay, bye, Red Feather. Thanks for hanging out. What am I at? 1 hour 12 minutes. I'm gonna hang out a little longer, although you may be my only viewer, but that's okay. Sometimes I wish I could get into other people's stuff and topics like that, like other people do, but I just don't feel compelled to. I don't feel like I'm interested enough in it. I'm more interested in being outdoors than I am anything else. Like, I could watch a video now, like the old commentary days. What would be a good video to watch? Let's see. It's funny because my entire YouTube feed is literally just dumb shit. It has nothing to do with anything that I'm talking about now. And I'm almost afraid to go down that path with my personal YouTube account, because then all that shit's going to flood back into it. Like it's funny because the most drama I get exposed to is through the guy named Asmongold. And that's it. Like, he's my connection to basically all the current drama. And I don't even follow Asmongold that closely. Just his shit pops up on my feed from time to time. I could say there's the iDubbbz thing, but that's old hat right now, isn't it? Didn't iDubbbz do like a fucking... Didn't he do like a content cop recently? I keep hearing about it, but I don't think I've... What was it? Content Cop H3. 1 hour. Jesus Christ, guy. That's long. His Content Cops before weren't that long, were they? It's funny because I type Content Cop into YouTube search, and the only thing that comes up is like that most recent Content Cop. Did he delete all his other Content Cop shit? Is that why it's not coming up? That's fucking crazy. How fucking crazy is iDubbbz now? It's an hour. Fuck it. I wonder if my shit will get fucking blocked if I watch this.
Actually, accusing Ethan of killing his dog is maybe too far, because they have mobilized.
So fuck it.
Such an insane harassment group that anybody who says any fucking thing, they will attempt to ruin their lives. And once again, I'm the crazy one. It's not bad enough that I have this group of people.
What we do here is go back.
Well, now I see why it's an hour long.
What's up, everybody? I'm Hassan Piker, and this is the Hassan broadcast coming to you live from a cloudy day here in California, Los Angeles. We're live and alive, and I hope all the boys, girls, and MBs are having a fantastic one because today's a beautiful day. I have a very important announcement. I've finally done it. I watched Ethan Klein's Content Nuke, and I'm not going to call it Context Puke as I normally do because the reality of the matter is it was brilliant. Nothing was out of context. Everything was correct. I am an Islamist, fundamentalist, radical terrorist. I am a vicious anti-Semite. It's true. Most importantly, Ethan is more attractive than me, both physically and also mentally. I've been lying about everything, including my glasses. They're fake. He was right about that. That's not even in the Content Nuke. And he was right about that too. How did he know everything? How? Wake up, Ethan. Wake up, Ethan. Ethan, wake up.
Wakey, wakey, Ethan. Wake up, Ethan. Wake up. Time to be awake, Ethan.
Wake up, Ethan.
This is no longer a dream. This is a nightmare. Wake up.
Ethan, the dumb bitch is telling you to wake up.
Wake up.
Ethan, wake up.
Wake up, Ethan.
Ethan, wake up.
Wake up.
Well, this isn't necessarily like his older content cops in the sense that this is more or less like name dropping other
Do a react content yet, chat.
I'm the same.
streamers,
Wake up, Ethan.
Twitch streamers.
What's up, Rambus?
Wake up, Ethan. Wake up.
Ethan,
Wake up, Ethan.
wake up.
I mean, when did iDubbbz ever need help taking someone down? You know, I mean, the whole point of, I'm going to stop that for a second. It wasn't the whole point of like Content Cop to be like Ethan's, or not, Ian's takedown of other streamers and whatever. It wasn't like him saying, oh, look at who I hang out with. I hang out with the popular kids and you're just like, he never had to stand on the shoulders of anyone. He never, you know, before, he was always competent enough, or at least respected enough to be able to just go with it. So that's kind of a letdown.
All right. I didn't plan on making a content cop on H3. It sounds very stupid even saying that. H3 content cop, iDubbbz. Ethan Klein's out of control. And then you should do a content cop on Hassan Piker. Content cop on Sargon of Akkad. If I would imagine this in 2016, I would have been like, oh yeah, if I ever do that, it's gotta be because I lose the plot. Well, it turns out it's not me losing the plot, it's Ethan. He's the one who fucking attacked first.
My good fucking friends who I stood by after all these fucking years can't find a spine to speak up.
So go fuck yourself.
I agree.
All right, guys, I'm going to tell you a story about Ethan Klein. I know some of you have been following him, but there's a lot of people who might not be familiar with
I don't follow either of these guys.
his podcast, with what's been going on over the past couple of years. So Ethan, as you know, is a content creator who has a podcast where he says all sorts of outrageous stuff. Sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's fucked up. He's had shows with all sorts of different controversial characters. He's had a show with Trisha Paytas. He's had a show with Hassan Piker. In doing so, he's gathered a ton of different audiences. Now, in his podcast with Hassan, Leftovers, they would mostly talk about surface level progressive shit and make fun of right-wingers.
And you're telling me he didn't flick their dick once at least?
Oh, that's 100 shavers, you trans women. I say, oh no!
And it was mostly that until they actually had to reckon with a very serious topic. I would say that Hassan was very well equipped to talk about that topic.
Palestinian people living in the West Bank are subject to these horrific conditions, horrific living conditions by the state of Israel, America's greatest ally and the only democracy in the Middle East, if you ask Republicans and even liberals.
Okay, problem number one. The tone of this is so not like Content Cop. I can understand the reason for the backlash immediately, because everyone remembers iDubbbz when he was fun. You know, when he was goofing around, when taking down someone was taking them down a peg. You know, like they were doing some cornball shit, or they were doing something that was just kind of dumb. And his whole purpose, the whole Content Cop, was taking them down a peg. You know, saying, hey, you're not the fucking God's gift of whatever. You know, it's like, that's what it was. This is something different. This is him kind of just coming out and saying, oh, well, Ethan has political, he has political views that are causing blah, blah, blah. It's like, who gives a fuck? Like, I don't know how far Ethan Klein's gone down the spectrum on his side, because I stopped following H3 a long ass time ago. Once they started doing the podcast, I was like, I liked his content before then, so I wasn't really interested in a podcast version of that. You know, so I stopped watching a long time ago. But from what I've seen over the years and what I've, like, as far as like, you know, people talking about him, Ethan Klein has really delved into politics. He leaned heavily into politics, which you can count me out of, because I don't give a fuck about anyone's political aspirations or their positions on politics. I don't fucking care. There's nothing anyone on YouTube or Twitch is ever going to say or do that's ever going to change anything on a level of government or politics or anything. It's a lot of people. It's just like actors who go on like, we need to make change. I've been on this planet for a long time, kids. And I've seen musicians, I've seen actors, I've seen activists, I've seen all these people come out of the woodwork and believe that they're making some fucking glorious change and making progress and this and that, and they all do nothing. They all do nothing. They have their moment in the sun, and then that's it. YouTubers and Twitch streamers, influencers, no fucking difference. None. They are just entertainers who are trying to flex their intellectual muscles and bite into a pie that is beyond them. So if that's what the rest of this video is, I can completely understand why he's getting the backlash he is, because who fucking cares? I mean, come on, where's the fucking, I mean, and I understand these two were friends for a long time, so it's like, it's more of a personal tinge to it, but where's the traditional iDubbbz Content Cop format? You can't just bring it back and say Content Cop and then make it like just a documentary on someone's downfall. That's not what Content Cop was.
Well, the dance he invented was so kick-ass.
Israeli settlers are trying to evict Palestinian families in occupied East Jerusalem. The United Nations says that may be a war crime. It literally is.
Was just eating the toppings. And the pizza looked like a burn victim. It was all disgusting.
I don't know if you can make that joke in 2021.
Why?
It's insensitive to burn victims.
I think it's a good analogy. It's a powerful image.
Ethan was not prepared for this. Ethan, the whole time, is more of the goof guy. And that's fine, you know, we don't expect Ethan to be an expert on the topic. Ethan was obviously caught in this tricky situation where he is extremely sympathetic to the Israeli cause.
See, this is not Content Cop. This is him doing a overview documentary of a situation. It's like
the state of Israel. On the other hand, he's just got done capturing a massive progressive audience who are very politically savvy. They follow Hassan. Hassan is strictly a political streamer, so this is something they're very keyed into. So when they see Ethan say things that are just like not accurate and it's just propaganda, they're gonna call it out.
From the river to the sea essentially means the state of Israel is going bye-bye.
So this massive progressive audience that Ethan has, you know, adopted over the years, they're becoming increasingly critical of his position because now he's talking about it not on Leftovers, he's now talking about it on his podcast.
What I want to do is show you guys how I see Israel, because you don't see that. When you listen to Hassan and you hear all these fucking mega lefties talking about it like it's some super racist, like crazy, like Jim Crow style of society. Like, I can't wait to show you guys.
The other day, Bibi fired a really good guy that a lot of people are pissed about.
So Ethan is having this back and forth with his liberal audience, leftist people online, progressive content creators, Hassan, all of these different people. He's finding new people every day, basically, to get in fights with.
Of all people, this guy, Matt Lieb, Frogan and Denims and all these dipshits, and everybody thinks this guy's awesome, apparently. Even though he looks like Milhouse, fucking dork. Denims, by the way, was the real villain of the video. Evil, hateful fucking... And I'll say it and I'll double down on it. And people... Oh, no?
No,
did I not go
no.
there?
And it's all culminated, at least for my story, in Ethan burning bridges with people until he burned the bridge with me. Since Ethan and Hassan's falling out, I've been keeping to myself mostly. I don't have many nice things to say. Maybe if Ethan's able to get some help, maybe if he stops harassing other creators.
Oh, boy. See, this is where you're I mean, he should never have called this Content Cop. He should have buried the Content Cop thing a long time ago and just done a fucking expose, documentary, whatever he wants to fucking call it, because this is not Content Cop. And it's sad because he called it Content Cop for the views. He called it Content Cop to get eyes on the product. But it's not what it is. And all it's going to do is bring ire to him. Like, how do you walk in to the situation knowing, I mean, he has to know. Maybe that this is the way it's going to turn out. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he doesn't. I mean, bullying people? Like, who the fuck are you? How did you make your bones, Jack? This is what you did. This is your MO. This is how you got popular. I don't understand this, what this is. Like, your whole Content Cop series was essentially bullying people. And now you're calling people out for, well, maybe if he, comes to his senses and stops bullying people. In a Content Cop video. Talk about forgetting where you came from. That's what this video should be called. I mean, he's lost his fucking way. I mean, this is insane. I was expecting it to be, what do the kids called it? Lit. I expected it to be like fire and full of piss and vinegar. I thought, here comes iDubbbz back. He's going to fucking tear into his old buddy Ethan. And no, this is just, I'm trying to be a well-measured and respectful person. And Ethan is the one who's That's not Content Cop. I'm sorry. That's just not. You should have called it something else there, Ian. You should have called it something else. Because this is going to bring you nothing but fucking regret.
Maybe if he does these things, eventually he'll find peace and we can like rekindle our friendship. So that's been my approach. I've occasionally thrown a joke Ethan's way in the form of Hassan Piker versus Ethan Klein for boxing.
I like iDubbbz. He's a good guy, but I don't like this sweet stupid. It's not a fucking petty beef. It's like this guy is evil and he's doing anti-Semitism. And also he's way out of my weight class.
And how is that a joke? Hassan Piker versus Ethan Klein. That's you promoting Creator Clash. Your fucking boxing thing. It's not a joke. That's you being a fucking shill for yourself. Like, I don't know. All I know of Ian lately has been Creator Clash and the nonsense that's been involved with that. The last one had involved Froggy Fresh and that whole debacle, which, you know, say what you will. Froggy was kind of he picked a side for sure. But what he did, however you want to look at it, whatever side you want to take on that, you have to look at it from a business standpoint, and you have to say, like, when you fuck your own business model up so you can die on some hill, like, these YouTubers and influencers, I'll never understand them. I will never understand their thought process. Like what is a business? What is making money? You know, they've never learned it. They've never understood it. So they'll sink hundreds of thousands of dollars into a project just to go bust because they never understood how they made their money in the first place. They thought it was just they're these golden gods that everyone just loves, and anything they do, they have the Midas fucking touch, you know? And that's not what it was. And in the case of Ian, he's fucking completely forgotten what people liked about him. I say that with 6.6 million views on this Content Cop, but I guarantee you a lot of this, if not a majority of this, are people fucking trashing his ass, because it's like, this is not Content Cop. I mean, god damn.
He didn't like that, but fucking sometimes you gotta just throw something out there. I used to work with this video editor named Froggy Tonic. I discovered him because he was in the circles online that I was in. And one of those circles is an H3 fan. He watched Ethan's content, he liked Ethan's content, until he didn't like Ethan's content. There would be an occasional Froggy tweet where I'd be like, I agree with that, you know? Like, I'm not gonna endorse it, I'm not gonna retweet it or like it, but fair enough.
I guess I just missed my old friend. Some wings are too bird feathered, colored.
Now that brings us to February.
Now see, this is an interesting contrast if you really think about what he's doing. He's literally showing Ethan Klein being him. Ethan's take on that, at least what iDubbbz showed of it, is that's the way you would expect iDubbbz to respond to situations like that. That's the way, the snarky fucking tongue-in-cheek fucking way of handling dumbass internet bullshit. You know? Like, that's how iDubbbz used to be. And he doesn't even recognize that. I'll say it again. Calling this Content Cop was a big mistake.
February 28th of this year. Now, my former editor of a year and a half ago did say some truly mean shit. He called Hila the C word.
Okay. I gotta keep going back to this. This is Content Cop, okay? He's now defending one of his old editors. This is not boy.
He said they're trying to kill their dog with cheddar cheese and a bunch of other shit, I'm sure. Ethan, at some point, discovers that iDubbbz's former editor says this horrendous shit about him and Hila. But no one's asking the question, where does Ethan get this information from? You see, it would be very obviously a problem if Ethan was discovering this content by scrolling through Twitter looking for something to upset himself with. He has maybe set it up in such a way where his employees feel the need to send him this information. And that would be horrible. They shouldn't be doing that. They should be sending you things that are entertaining for your show that don't fucking trigger the hell out of you.
Oh my God. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it through this. And this is part of the reason why I can't do this, folks, because I know what I liked about iDubbbz back in the day. It was Content Cop. It was this Kickstarter crap. It was the stuff where he was legitimately making me laugh. This isn't making me laugh. This isn't entertaining. This is, I have a problem with Ethan Klein. Ethan Klein said bad things about me, and now I'm going to complain about what Ethan Klein said about me in a measured response, not meant to incite or to bully, but to inform. Content Cop. Like, you've lost the fucking plot, Jack. He started off saying, if I ever did a video about Ethan Klein, I would have lost the plot. You clearly did. You don't even see it. Look at how present he is in his eyes. When you watch old Content Cop, he was like a fucking Ritalin junkie. He was like ADHD to the max. Like, he just fucking constantly like going, almost rocking, autistically rocking, and just constantly moving. And everything was like magnetic. Everything like had passion and movement and energy to it. And now it's just this blank, cold stare of a measured, responsible man clinging on to past glory that has long escaped him and trying to do something that appeals to no one. No one. Even the people that he's defending are the person he's going after, and the people he's defending are more antagonistic than him today. Yet, Content Cop. It makes zero sense.
Why is there so much work being put into discovering this guy on Twitter who's barely getting any interactions, linking him to me and posting on the Reddit, when there's no work being put into who the fuck is the person on the Reddit who's posting this in the first place? If you do a little bit of research, it seems like it's an account whose intention is to make Ethan crash out. One of the users on the Snark Reddit points this out. They're like, I've seen this account before. This account has scraped its history, and it's now trying to make Ethan burn bridges. This is within Ethan's own community. Like, this is the thing that he needs to be critical of. It's not me. So yes, I am willing to admit that my former editor was being very nasty, uncharitable, and fucked up towards Ethan and Hila on Twitter. But Ethan and Hila are doing the same shit on their podcast. So I don't want to fucking hear it.
Terrorist supporter.
The CEO of Twitch.
Pedophile.
Now I'm going to watch and respond to the two podcast streams where Ethan and Hila call us spineless cowards.
Anyway, this guy was saying shit like that Hila's a Nazi, that she kills kids, that she went on like, she's a IDF baby killer.
Now you see how Ethan Klein is bouncing in his chair, eyes darting all around. He is engaged. He's a guy who doesn't fucking care. He's just going to spit it out there, no regard, no care. He's going to say what he feels. He's going to address the situation in the moment, not thinking about the future, not concerning himself with the overall views of his audience and how it's going to come back to haunt him later. These are all the measured thoughts and ideas that iDubbbz now has in everything that he does. And it's killing his channel. Literally killing it. I mean, my God.
All this types of shit. And that's showing up right up on us Nisa's and iDubbbz feed. My good fucking friends who I stood by after all these fucking years can't find a spine to speak up. You know why? Because they'll get murdered.
You don't know what's on my feed. What the fuck is happening? For all you know, I only use the For You tab. For all you know, I only use lists. For all you know, I'm seeing these things tweeted out by my editor of a year and a half ago and saying, God, that is nasty. I'm just not gonna throw someone away because they're having a parasocial weird moment. Just like I'm not gonna throw Ethan Klein away because he's having a parasocial weird crash out.
How many women I fucked? Hassan, by the way, thousands. Yeah, thousands. Let me ask Galia. These shoes do not go. I'm sorry. Oh my God. Hassan's the type of dude who watches himself in the mirror when he has sex.
Watching me on a 30-second delay on your stream.
Wait, how does he know I'm watching already?
Because you've been talking about it for the last 5 minutes.
It's not a fucking petty beef. It's like, this guy is evil and he's doing anti-Semitism. These shoes do not go. I'm sorry.
There are many people, I'm sure, who have unfollowed you for the things that you've said and done. And I'm sure there are even more people who have stayed following you because they don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. They don't want to throw someone away because they've had some hard moments. We're all fucking human.
My good fucking friends who I stood by after all these fucking years can't find a spine to speak up. You know why? Because they'll get murdered.
And what you're saying to me is that I'm a bad friend and I'm a piece of shit. I'm spineless. I'm cowardly because I am following someone on Twitter.
Because they have mobilized such an insane harassment group. It's not bad enough that I have this group of people harassing me and everyone in my life. It's that people outside of this group, journalists, creators, are actively participating.
Well, let's talk about that. Both of these guys created their own problem. I mean, let's just call a spade. Both of these guys started out in a place of pure antagonism and bullying and calling other creators out, pointing their flaws out, being legitimate jerks. One of them, iDubbbz, has completely went away from that, which is why I'm like, it's so hypocritical to do content cop for him now, because that's totally not who he is anymore. Ethan veered off from that, tried to be more mindful and be more respectful, but he ended up swerving. He can't fight his own true nature, and he swerves back into his old ways, you know? And he probably takes in a lot more of the comments that he gets, which is, you know, you used to be funny. You used to put out content that was funny. What happened to the old Ethan Klein? What happened to the old H3H3? We miss your old format. Blah, 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 blah. And he probably takes that, he listens, takes that into heart, and he probably has thought a lot about it and thought, you know what? They're right. I used to be funny. I used to not just be about one thing and one thing only. But I don't know, most of what I hear, and which is weird because you basically have iDubbbz doing this compare contrast where he shows Hassan Piker talking about fucking, I know that was to make a point about how he wasn't prepared for a debate. But he shows how like Ethan goofs around and then talks about like people harassing him and talking shit about other people, and then clips of him goofing around. That's because Ethan still wants to goof around. He still wants to be funny. He still wants to entertain. I don't think iDubbbz gives two fucks about entertaining anyone anymore. I mean, clearly not with this fucking content cop. I'm already bored out of my mind. It's to a point now where it's like, I honestly don't think I'm going to be able to make it through it just because I'm bored already. Like, I guess I should say, I don't care enough about either one of these guys to be that personally invested where either one of them could make a strong enough case for me to be like, yeah, he's right, or they're right, or blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just two petty idiots, hypocrites, bitching about one another. He hurt my feelings. He said something that hurt my feelings. So it's gone back to 2016 comments, on video comments. I saw your video where you said this. Well, now I'm going to make my video responding to your video, and then you're going to make a video responding. Like, do we have to go back in time 9 fucking years? I mean, these guys are supposedly supposed to be friends. Fucking talk to one another. Don't have this bullshit of like bringing back the fucking commentary community nonsense. I mean, fuck. It's played out. It's dumb.
And this gaslighting to make it seem like I'm fucking crazy.
I mean, I don't know what he's getting at here. Like, yeah, people are gaslighting you. A lot of people gaslit me when I apologized. That was actually like the #1 type of harassment I got, was people gaslighting me and taking my newfound woke ideology to its extreme.
I probably done and stood by iDubbbz and Anissa more than anybody. I've stood by them when all the internet hated them.
I don't like that Ethan brought this up because it makes the relationship feel very transactional. Like, we're just meant to support each other online despite our own personal morals or principles.
But I'll say this, I don't think they're fucking any friends of mine. And certainly I don't think they're any fucking friends of mine based on the text conversation I had with them too before I even talked about it. So I have nothing. I don't need any fucking halfway friends, man.
I thought the text conversation that I had with him was very empathetic. I basically just said, like, I know you and Hila are experiencing a ton of harassment, and I essentially empathize with that, and I think there's something positive to get out of the conversation. But he
I will say this. This makes me laugh because people bitching about, like, well, I don't know why he read my text that way when I meant it this way. This generation is never going to get that words in text do not convey the emotions you intend. They can be interpreted. They can be interpreted by the person reading them. They can be interpreted in a way you never intended them to be. If you want to be sure, absolutely sure, that your message is being conveyed properly, speak to the person. Speak to them. Have your emotions, your words actually have some sort of, additional information being conveyed. A look on your face, the sound of your voice, the timbre in which you're saying certain things. Because you can write, because sarcasm can't be picked up on text. I mean, you could write something sarcastic and no one would even know it. But if you say something with a sarcastic tone, it's immediately picked up on. Having contact, just eye-to-eye contact, face-to-face contact, human body interaction, just like body movement, things like that. It's all the things that we as humans get from one another that help complete the entire picture. Words alone are not the fucking end of the story. So for these guys to sit there and like, well, I didn't like his text. Well, my text didn't mean it. I don't know why you did. Like, how old are you fucking idiots? Like, have you not figured it out yet? That if you really are legitimate about what you're saying, well, I think we're friends. I don't know why he says we're not friends because my text clearly states, like, you're already fucked up. If you were a friend, you would have called him. If you were a friend, you would have visited him. Vice versa. He would have visited you. He would have called you. If you two were actual friends, you would have reached out to one another. So it shouldn't shock either one of you that if your communication with one another is basically limited to texts, you're probably not friends. And you'll have a transactional relationship because you're not friends. I mean, for Ethan to say, well, he's no friend of mine. Is he using that for clout? Is he using that to make a point? Abso-fucking-lutely. Because it benefits him, just like it benefits Ian to claim he's friends with this person, that person, this person. It benefits Ethan to claim I'm friends with this person. It's a network of fucking content creators all pretending to be these big group of friends so they can all fucking mooch off each other and benefit and soak up each other's horse shit to build off of that. It's a business relationship. It's a fucking entertainment business relationship. How old are you fucking people? How long have you been doing this? Do any of you people have a brain in your fucking head? Honestly. Here's what they're wanting you to believe. They're wanting you to literally listen to everything they say as they present it and say, how could I have possibly known? How could it have been any different? How blah, blah, blah. Listen, watch what this person did and watch how they've responded to this and this interaction and this and something I did here. And they took it this way when I meant it to be that way. But in no way, shape, or form have they fostered or cultivated any sort of personal relationship that extends beyond that. So for them to sit there and put out there into the world with their viewing audience, well, trust me, because I'm telling you the right story. I'm telling you the correct story. And the other guy's like, no, fuck him. Trust me. I'm telling you the right story. Fuck both of them, because they're both lying to you. They're both feeding you horse shit, because they're just trying to win you over to their side of the argument, because that's all this is. It's a bitchy little girl argument over some bullshit. I think this. Well, I think this. Well, I don't like you anymore because you like, that's bitch shit. I'm sorry, it is. And it's fucking it's aggravating. I would not be aggravated at all if this wasn't called Content Cop, because that's the unforgivable thing about what iDubbbz has done. iDubbbz can do whatever the fuck he wants with his content. He can go down whatever road he wants. I don't care. I'm not personally invested in iDubbbz's career or future. I choose to watch or I choose not to watch. If he's not entertaining me, I won't watch his stuff, which is, for the most part, been what it has been. Like, I haven't watched iDubbbz stuff in years. I haven't watched Ethan's stuff in years because they just didn't entertain me anymore. So for all of for them to be pulling out we're going to pull it out from the vault, the old Content Cop, you have an expectation based on the past of what he's going to present. And that's not what this is. And it's just so fucking irritating. It's like a zombie brand now. Only the guy who's zombieing it is the same guy who did it, which is even more irritating, because it's like, if anyone should know, don't fuck your own brand up, it's the guy who created the fucking brand. These guys are not smart. Not a one of them are fucking intelligent. And all of their empires are going to go away because they don't have a brain in their fucking head.
Refused to talk on the phone unless I was willing to publicly say something about my former editor and Denims. As much as you don't want halfway friends, I also don't want that kind of halfway friend. I don't want someone who's going to give me like an ultimatum to have a conversation.
Could you not say something when this is like, imagine like one of you guys is like, Hassan actually wants to go to Gaza so he can strangle Israeli babies or some shit like that. I'd be like, you imagine me not saying something.
You're trying to make a one-to-one comparison where there isn't one. This guy that I follow on Twitter is not in the same relationship as you and one of your current employees who is streaming with you 3 days a week, 3 hours a day for the past 10 years. At one point during the stream, Ethan and Hila bring up Adam McIntyre. Now, Adam does basically the same thing as my former editor. He's critical of Ethan and Hila, and he is sometimes uncharitable and nasty towards them.
Adam McIntyre needs to just like disappear. That guy is a piece of shit, like of the lowest order. I never even stood by him when he talked bad about Trisha having a kid and called him like the spawn of Satan. He was supposedly on our side. I would never even co-sign that. I was disgusted by that statement too. I remember when he called her kid the spawn of Satan.
I never said anything
and
like
I was
that.
supposed to be like cheering on, but I wasn't going to cheer that on. That's disgusting.
Why do you forget that he called her children, which is something we would never do, the spawn of Satan?
It's disgusting. It's a piece of shit of a human.
It's just incredible who ends up being the good guys.
It's so funny watching like these guys. It's so fucking, it's frustrating and it's funny because it's like, like I said, I don't follow either one of them. So for my memory of the content that I used to watch of them, to watch them carry on in this manner is so ridiculously childish. It's like, what are you even talking? Well, who watch? I guess I'm far gone. I am beyond it all, because this is not entertaining. This is just grown men bitching like little teenage girls about having their fifis hurt. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. You make money talking to people on your show. You have a show, you bring people on. People want to talk to you because you're an entertaining guy and you reach a lot of people and you cultivated an audience that actually reaches people, and you have people who like to hear what you... Nobody wants to hear this. Who tunes in for this? I mean, and you're talking to the guy who used to fucking pal around with the IBS crew, you know, and hang around during those fucking stupid ass days. And it's like, I mean, I get it. I understand. But to see people like Ethan, iDubbbz, and all these other fucking people like go down that path and think that's the fucking gold. That's the gold mine. The drama streams. That's the gold. Every single channel that went down that path burned the fuck out and exiled themselves off to some fucking platform that nobody even fucking knows exists. So I don't know why these guys, this goes back to my whole, they have no brains, because this is just shit you let go of. Like, if iDubbbz wants to be whatever the fuck he wants to talk about, he can talk about it. If he's getting views doing it, great. If Ethan wants to talk about and be an entertained guy and do whatever, and great. If they want to get serious, they want to talk about politics, whatever. You're going to lose people. You're going to gain people. You're going to watch your markets and your audiences fluctuate. And you're going to, if you have any sort of business acumen, you're going to decide what you need to do to embrace or reject whatever you need to do to retain an audience, build an audience, whatever. But these guys don't do that. They do whatever they want. It's all about what they want. They are the kings of their little castle. And that's why their castles are going to crumble and fall. Because they do not understand what it takes to be in an entertainment business for the long term. The long term. And these guys are already faded stars. Ethan and Ian are both from the prior generation. The very prior, I mean, like long-standing prior generation at this point. So for them to even have any sort of remaining relevance is insane. And this is the way they choose to go. They want to burn themselves out, tearing each other down. But, you know, I guess it's all for shits and giggles. It's all fun at the end of the day, because all they got to do is make up for it at the end. You know, oh, well, we learned our lesson and we got together and talked and we realized that our friendship's more important than all this pettiness and all this drama and blah, blah, blah. So, and they're like, woo, everybody celebrates for a little bit and then everyone fucking forgets, because they were only interested in the drama as the drama existed, you know. I mean, fuck this. 16 minutes. I can't even get to halfway through this. And I am literally cashed out. I'm checked out. I'm not interested in this whatsoever. It's literally just complaining. And it's like I said, iDubbbz is doing his documentary series and calling it Content Cop, which is a big bait and switch as far as I'm concerned. When I saw the hour runtime, I knew, like, this is not going to be you're not going to put everything I've seen that's been in like 45 minutes, 50 minutes, an hour long. It's like deep dive documentary into some horse shit. It's not laugh your ass off funny. Think about comedy specials. A comedy special that's an hour long, it's not funny all the way through. Sometimes you've got to fucking condense shit. There's an ebb and flow with comedy. You can't keep people laughing for an hour straight or they'll fucking have a stroke. You know, so when I was going into it, I'm like, this is not going to be comical. This is not going to be a Content Cop. And it wasn't. And it isn't. It is one of iDubbbz's docu-series, which is all about, and it's literally just, my friend Ethan talked bad about me, so I'm going to make a video about it. And he gets 6.6 million views after 2 weeks. So who am I to fucking say anything? I mean, for the love of God. But I guess I'm one of those people who believes there were better times for both of these men. There were better times. And it's somewhere along the line, they just decided, we don't care. Maybe they've already made all their millions and they're just like, I'm fine where I'm at. I'm fine with the money I got. I can go the rest of my life on what I have and I don't have to make another dime. So for the rest of my time, I'm going to do whatever I want in this moment and not think about the business or whatever. Cool. Awesome. And then when you're 50, 60 years old and all that money's gone and you're thinking about, oh, I'm going to have to fucking actually get a job. Well, they'll probably have a job long before then, but that takes me back to one of those things. Fuck this. It takes me back to one of the things I was talking about before about how musicians, like that you've heard of, maybe not heard of, different musicians and actors and whatever, the people who hit for a little bit and then went away. You know, sometimes big, sometimes not so big. I was always intrigued about the idea of like, whatever happened to them? Like, do they have to go back to regular jobs? Could you imagine being in like, I don't know, the band Saliva, the metal band Saliva, and then being on the job site one day and when you're 55, you know, and you're fucking putting up studs on a fucking new construction and all of a sudden your old band song comes on the fucking rock radio, classic rock. Hey, check out this old Click Click Boom. And then you got to hear that song from your past on the radio as you're fucking working as a general laborer on a construction site in your 50s. And you just got to think, man, I mean, sure, it was great times. Sure, I had a lot of fun memories and all that, but look where I'm at now, you know? Look where I ended up. Was it worth it? I mean, that's one of those thoughts that kind of keeps me up at night, you know? When I think about life, you know, going down the course of life and the choices you make and making the right decisions, you know? And there's no way of ever knowing, but I always think about those fucking people who thought they had it all, everything was going their way and everything was going to be great and they made it. They finally made it. It's the end of the story and it's a happy ending. But then time moves on and you're like, you know, I was talking about Sade, you know, from like a long time, like back in the 80s, like, you know, she probably made enough money on her music to be able to have a nice apartment and make enough royalties to live on for the rest of her life, but she probably doesn't live like in a mansion or impressive life. She gets by. But did she ever think that, you know, that's the rest of her life is literally just, well, I go to the grocery store, I buy my groceries, I come back to my apartment, I have my cats, you know, and whatever. Like after touring the world and playing all these shows and writing all these music and having people still like play their songs and I swear, I don't know what it is. I'll never understand what it is about my OBS, but at 2 hours and 4 minutes, it always fucking drops out. It never fails. It's crazy. But anyway, yeah, fuck iDubbbz, fuck Ethan Klein, fuck all of them. I mean, it's just petty. It's just dumb. This is why I could never do this. I could never fucking do this for a living because all these people annoy the shit out of me with their dumb, petty, yeah, you said something nasty about me. It's like, who fucking cares? Apparently a lot of people, apparently millions of people care about what these two idiots think about one another. I will never understand it. I'm an old man shaking my fist at the clouds. I just don't have the time to invest in that sort of nonsense, or let alone be one of these fringe cunts that make whole shows dedicated to pointing and laughing at someone's downfall or someone's hardship, like the old IBS days and like fucking Ethan Ralph and Kino Casino and shit like that, where it's like, ha ha ha, look what they've done, look at it, oh, they look like an asshole. I'm like, that is such a, I don't know, that to me is like a very petty existence, pathetic and petty. I'd rather be a nobody with a regular job, just making my honest living and being out of sight and out of mind of everyone, than fucking have to make my living painting targets on people's back and throwing darts at them continuously over and over and over for the enjoyment of a mob. And I'll tell you, people like Andy Worski, they never fucking learn. Because I don't know how many times the fucking crosshairs have been turned on his ass. And he's just like, I don't care. Load it all up again. Let's fucking go another round. I will continue to shit talk everybody out there on the internet for as long as I draw breath into these lungs. And I will catch as much shit as I give. But I don't care, because that's the life I have chosen. It's like, okay, more power to you, I suppose. But that is shit ain't for me. I'm too old. I'm of a different generation, you know, and it just doesn't work for me. So that's why I was, you know, it's like I don't even entertain the idea anymore, like I did 10 years ago or whatever, of trying to make this a thing and do something with live streaming. Like, I don't give a fuck if anybody actually watches this shit. Because honest to God, it's like, I represent one of these people who, and it's not somebody who like, I took my shot and I didn't make it. Now I'm going to try to tell you like how to do better. Like it's like so many things in entertainment, really. There are so many failed bands, failed actors, failed writers, failed streamers out there who gave it their all, did it for years, tried, followed the rules, followed every guideline, did everything they were supposed to do, and couldn't make it work. And then some asshole comes along and says, well, they just didn't have it. They didn't have it. Oh, really, genius? You think? I mean, in a lot of cases, I mean, I watch some popular streamers, and I'm just like, I have a hard time understanding why anyone likes them. Because I'm out of the loop. That's when you realize like you shouldn't be in these crowds. Just like I don't go to like concerts and rock shows and shit like I used to when I was a kid, because I'm not in that crowd anymore. I'm not interested in that stuff anymore. For me to go and like, I'm going to go hang out at the new, I don't even know what bands are even fucking popular now. I couldn't tell you one. Sleep Token. How about that? That's one metal band, crossover band or whatever that I can name. Like, imagine me at 48 years old going to a Sleep Token concert. And be like, where's your son? Oh, I just came by myself. It's like, I am not that. I'm not meant to be that. So for me to comment on that seems very hypocritical and petty. And it's no different than streamers like, oh, well, this streamer, let me tell you why this streamer sucks. How the fuck would I know? Because they're not my taste? No, hardly anything's my taste. If I held people to that fucking standard, there would be nothing on YouTube and Twitch. I mean, I don't get it. It's what these kids are into. I just don't understand, you know. Which is funny because I used to be tied into like the meme culture and all this stuff in the early 2000s and whatnot. But anymore, it's just like you feel like an old man holding on to the past. And it's just not worth it. That's where I leave it. You know, it's like, fuck it. I've always said for a long time that there's channels of old men like me When people who just put out their content and do something interesting and creative, and they take the time to video themselves doing things, and they put it together in a nice little package, and they build channels. But as far as live streaming goes, it's not something that you can just go out there and fucking keep, like in my case, where it's just almost literal stream of consciousness intermixed with me talking about my personal life. Like, the only people I get watching my stream are people who've been watching my stream for fucking years now. And it's the same, like, 3 or 4 people. So it's like, you know, it is what it is. I don't give a shit. I'm happy that they're still watching, you know. Apparently they see something in me that I don't even see in myself. But ultimately it's heartwarming. It's definitely humbling. I feel flattered that people actually want to watch, think I'm entertaining in any regard, because people have said that, like, it doesn't matter what you're talking about, we're going to tune in. It's like, oh, awesome. I don't understand it, but it's awesome, cool. But that doesn't work for everybody. That's not the kind of thing that, you know, broadly sells. You know, it's not even, and it's not the thing that I want to fucking do. Ah, hello, Mr. Elephant in the Room. How are you? Thank you for watching. Yeah, it's just that's one of those things where it's like, I do this from time to time because I like doing it. Okay, I like doing it on my timetable, you know. I like doing it when it feels right to do it. You know, I could do it more, but I feel like if I do it too much, it's just going to become too much of a task and too much of a job and too much of an expectation of having to do it. And then I lose sight of it because there's only so much I can say. There's only so much I have to talk about. I mean, and like I've said earlier and in the past and all the time, like, other people's lives, it's very difficult for me to watch someone else's content and comment on it and be like, and stay engaged. Because when I'm watching other people's stuff, I'm watching it. I'm taking it in. I'm not doing it for my own gratification or my own, you know, efforts. Like, I don't think that way, you know. I just like to absorb content. Like, okay, I watched that. I guess I just don't have that mentality, you know, of using other people's work to benefit me in some sort of way, however that would work. I've tried to do gaming streams and shit like that, and it's like, they're entertaining for a time, and then it's like, I just lose interest, because I lose interest in the entire concept. I was doing 7 Days to Die streams on another channel, and I was doing them. I did a whole thing where I was just doing wood spike only runs. No death, permadeath, wood spike only runs, where all I could do in order to kill enemies and kill anything was plant wood spikes, or trap only is what I called it. So I could use certain traps and whatever, like mechanical traps, electrical traps, whatever, as I got them later on in the game. But I eventually got to the point where I did hardest difficulty, insane difficulty, blood moon every night, wood trap only. That's how far I took that before I finally tapped out. And I'm like, fuck this. Like, because nobody was watching them. I posted on Reddit, and Reddit tore my ass to shreds in no time flat. They didn't want to fucking, there's like, it's like, it's so beyond the pale of what they expected or what they wanted or whatever they thought. It's just like, we don't care. Nobody cares, you know, because it's an old ass game, you know, but I'm just like, fuck it, you know, have some fun with it, try it. But what I ended up doing in the process when I did that was I destroyed the game. I literally killed it. Because after you do that sort of run, you can't play the game normally, because you realize how fucking broken that game is and how broken it can be when you exploit that mechanic. And sure, it takes a long time to finish their missions, but all you need are wood spike traps, literally. It's crazy. The game is so fucking unbalanced. But I didn't want to be a game streamer. And I think in a lot of cases, like some of the people that I used to follow and some of the people I used to talk to, even, you know, they may still do game streams, they may not, I don't know. But after many, many years of doing game streams, a lot of them just never really took off, never really got many views. They tried everything. They did everything they could think of, followed the fucking rules and the guidelines and all that. And it was just like, at what point do you just say, okay, what am I doing this for? Is it still beneficial to me? Is it worthwhile to me? Am I getting anything from this? Because if my it's just like being in a band and getting to a certain level and thinking, all right, we're on our way. We're on our way. We're going to make it. It's going to happen for us. But it never really does. And after a decade or so of being at that level, you have to get honest with yourself, really honest, and start to say, is it ever going to happen? And am I comfortable at the level I'm at to stay at this level, keep doing what I'm doing because I take personal enjoyment from it? Some people can answer yes. I always answered no. To me, I was like, it was always a business for me. And it was always like, if we're not moving forward and we're not moving ourselves to an area where we're playing shows and we're touring all the time and doing all that, then I'm not interested in it because I don't take personal enjoyment from this. And that baffled everyone that I was ever in a band with. Even people that I wasn't in a band with who knew I was in a band, they're just like, how can you just walk away from it? It's like, because I didn't get anything from it. I don't know how to explain it. All of this stuff doesn't mean anything to me. It's just stuff that I do. It doesn't gratify me in any way. I've written songs before. I've written whole albums before. But it doesn't mean anything. It's just stuff I did. I listen to it from, you know, occasionally from time to time. It's like, yeah, I remember doing that. But that's it. I mean, I can't lie about it. I can't pretend it's something it's not. You know, I'm just, maybe that's the way my brain chemistry is, and I'm just wired that way. I don't get any personal satisfaction from it. I never got any personal satisfaction from being in the band and playing shows and doing shit like that. That's why I was always inebriated every fucking show we did. So it was like, when you throw into the mix being in your 40s, you really, I mean, a person like me, it's not even a question anymore. It's like, that was my past. That shit's all done. It's time to put it to bed and focus on other things. And I'm fine with that. This is one of those things where it's like, I don't know. I talk to myself a lot. So in a lot of ways, this is not unfamiliar territory to me. The only difference is I'm not in my car with my phone recorder. I'm on a live stream talking to potential people, you know, but I have my interests. I do what I do. And if anyone is interested in it, whatever. I get really self-conscious, as you can tell. I wish I had a more interesting life. I wish I had more thoughts on things. I mean, I do. I have, like, my stream of consciousness shit, I can go on forever just on ideas and different thoughts I've had for whatever it's worth. The philosophical aspects of my never-ending analysis of human behavior and life itself. I could go on forever and ever and ever on that. And if people are interested in it, then they can continue to tune in and listen to it. I found I was going through my oldest social rec folder, and I found an old thumbnail to a video called Cockroach Milk in Space. And I laughed my ass off when I saw that, because I remembered the stream, and I just remembered, like, going off on this fucking tangent for like hours, talking about how our future hinged on the exodus of mankind from the planet, and that the only sustainable way we were ever going to be able to make that work is with cockroach milk. And I put together this whole fantasy role-playing scenario of how it would all work, how it could all be handled, you know, in such a way, like how the cockroaches would be allowed to, you know, kind of fester on the ship, or, you know, just be allowed to go around, and they would basically be cleaning the ship by eating any of the fucking bullshit that's like laying around or whatever. And every once in a while they would be milked. You know, their milk would be extracted and gathered and collected while humans would be asleep. And when the humans would wake, they'd have this reservoir of milk to be able to sustain themselves for the duration of period when they're awake and doing their tests and doing whatever until they have to go back into hypersleep. And then the process, begins again until you find a sustainable planet. And I was like, and all of that was just based on that one concept because I read something about cockroach milk on some story just back then. And I was like, man, just imagine the possibilities. And it just made me laugh, because I thought, and that's kind of one of the things that prompted me to want to come back and just keep doing it. Because I think that's one of those things I liked. And more recently, when I did the stream, what was it, last year or earlier this year or whatever, I did the stream where I went off on that Seattle public access show that had Bill Nye on it, and I took that to fucking crazy town, where I was saying Seattle, Washington was the landing site of an alien invasion back in the 60s and 70s, and that ever since then the aliens have been taking over and trying to co-opt and corrupt our society and turn us into was trying to destroy traditional families and marriage and things like that, and basically make it to where everyone had sex with aliens. And Bill Nye was like the architect of that. And that then it devolved into like grunge and Eddie Vedder and this whole other, and Kurt Cobain and this whole trip. But it was fun. It was funny and it was fun. It was a nice little thought exercise, and it was just fun to go down a creative rabbit hole and just see where you end up, see how far you can push these crazy ideas and what sort of story you can tell yourself. And I had a lot of fun doing it. I thought it was great. I mean, it's not the kind of thing I can do all the time, because it's sort of like an in the moment sort of deal, It happens sometimes it doesn't. But man, that was, I think back to those long form tangents, and I think, man, I had a lot of fun doing that. I wish I could do it all the time, but I can't. I can try, but I can't. And I also get very, very distracted by chat. So whenever I'm doing stuff like that, it's hard for me to stay on topic when I start reading chat fly by. And Red Feather is like one of the biggest problem cases in that, because she loves to chat. But I still appreciate her. But ultimately, it's like the only way I can stay on a flow is to sort of block out chat and just kind of keep going, and then occasionally look at it and see and pull something from it. But when I'm in that zone, I just kind of have to stay in it and just keep thinking about it and working it out, and it becomes fun. But I've been on such a dark trip these past 4 months. I haven't really had a lot of opportunity to do that, and it sucks, because I really could I feel like I could use that a lot in my life now with everything that's been going on. And I just, it's been difficult. It's been very difficult. I have had some severe ups and downs, serious ups and downs, and I feel like I'm coming to the end of a lot of that now, and I'm grateful and thankful to be coming to the end of it. And hopefully at the end of all of this, I don't lose my job. And at the end of this, I can stay in a positive and happy sort of state, and continue to do things that make me happy, and things can just work out. Or not. I mean, you got to kind of, you got to do what you got to do in life, and you got to go with the flow. Speaking of going with the flow, I'm going to be hanging it up now. It's been 2 hours and 25 minutes, and my wife gets home shortly, so I want to be here for her, because she works 10 hours a day, and she actually worked a 12-hour day today, so I definitely want to hang out and talk with her and be there for her. Then I got work for the next 2 days, and then the weekend, and I may get on here tomorrow. I'll have to think about something. I'll have to think about an idea, culminate something, put something together, so it's not just this. I tried to do the commentary thing. I always suck at it. I fail at it every time. So I just got to do what's good, what I know, which is tell a story. Go into a fucking tangent. I mean, but, you know, the public access show spawned that whole idea. So, I don't know. Pull some inspiration. Figure it out. I don't know. Whatever. I appreciate everyone who's watched this stream. I appreciate you, Dan the Man. I appreciate Red Feather. I appreciate old Victor Rand, who stopped in for a second. And the Ghetto Redneck Bible Lady, whoever that is. And I'm sad that, who is it? Sorry. I think P-Dub had mentioned he missed one of my streams before, but he doesn't get notifications when I stream, so he missed this one too, which sucks. So, you know, that's YouTube for you. But I'm going to get off here, and I'll probably be back on tomorrow. If not tomorrow, definitely Friday. How about that? So, maybe. But anyway, thanks, and see ya.